let's chat. Hey guys! So welcome to my new little setup. So this video that you're watching is the start of a new series on my channel called Aphrodite Chats. This is inspired by the beauty guru Kathleen Lights, and she has her little cat chats where she just basically just chit chats. This is just gonna be a really chill chit chat kind of talk kind of video series where I talk about various topics. I'll do my book rant here because I need like a calming space. We're gonna do some book discussions here, some Q&A, anything that is more of a laid back kind of thing. And I really hope you guys like this because I'm a pretty chill person and this is kind of my brand. So today's video is going to be how I rate / annotate, and I wasn't really going to ever make this video because I don't know what I'm doing. It's not like a strict system of what a lot of people can do, like, oh, a 1 star means this, and they have like an outline and it kind of like a, what are they called? Kind of like a grading sheet for like your professors. They have like all this criteria in each one, and that's just not me. Every book's different and every kind of rating for that book means a different thing. So I figured that that would be a perfect topic to cover in like an Aphrodite Chats because I don't really know what I'm doing, and so yeah. I thought we'd first start off with my tabbing system because that's what I do. I don't write in my books. I don't highlight in them. I tried once and I didn't like it and I regretted it immediately, so I am a tabber. Here are the 3 books that I have tabbed on my shelf, just 3 of them. I have The Last Wish by Andreas Sapkowski, Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which this is the first book I ever tabbed, which is why like the tabs are kind of uneven, and also it has duckled edges, so that kind of doesn't help. And then one that I've recently just finished tabbing is Fangirl by Rabel Rowell. I know my cover's really ugly because there's a sticker on it. I'm aware. Those are just some examples. So blue is Sadness, and it's my least used tab. So if that doesn't show you how much of a heartless bitch I am, I don't know what will. Has remotely any blue is Song of Achilles. I don't have any blue in either of the other books, so... And this book is one of the only books to make me cry, so appropriate. So yeah, blue is anything that makes me sad, anything that I'm like, oh shit, like, that's kind of depressing. That's blue. Green is one of my most used tabs, and that is something that makes me annoyed or angry. I use this tab a lot. It's almost gone. It only has 3 tabs left in it. Yellow is any like interesting facts or lore or anything like that. I especially use a lot of this in fantasy books, obviously, and just anything that is like an interesting fact that I liked. And yeah, that's yellow. And then pink is anything I love, like usually it doesn't have to be couples, it could be like a quote, it could be a moment, anything like that, that's pink. And then orange is funny moments, and I actually only have one tab left, so clearly I'm easily amused, I guess. Okay, so let's go over my rating system because that I feel like is the hardest to explain. So let's start off with ones. Ones are pretty straightforward. Ones are books that I would have DNF'd because I am a chronic DNF'er. I have no problem DNFing books, but if I have to stick with the book for some reason, like I'm buddy reading it or I'm doing it for a video, etc., those are usually the books that get 1-star rating. For example, The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Cowrie. I finished that in February. I would have DNF'd that book, but I wanted it for a video, so I gave it a 1 star. Kind of makes sense, right? Because I wouldn't willingly put myself through reading a 1-star book to its full capacity. 2 stars are books that usually made me angry or didn't have a ton of plot or I didn't care. So it's either it made me really angry or it didn't make me care at all. 2 examples of this is the one that made me angry is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. The writing was gorgeous, but the characters made me so mad and I was so pissed off the entire book. I had so many problems with it, which is why it's a 2-star. An example of one that just made me bored is Stain by A.G. Howard. I also gave that a 2-star because I just didn't care about any of the characters. So yeah, that's usually 2.5 could kind of bleed into it if it made me mad, but still some redeemable qualities like Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. 3s. Now 3s are messy. I feel like 3s are probably a lot of people's most difficult rating to define because there are so many reasons why a book would be rated a 3-star. One reason is similar to a 2.5 but probably has more oomph to it, more quality writing, something like that, but it wasn't for me. For example, Paper Girls. I don't remember who wrote that, but I gave that a 3 because it was sci-fi. I didn't like the story, but like I feel like the banter and everything was good, so I feel like more people would like that, and I don't want to knock it down because it just wasn't my thing. A 3 could also just mean average. Like the writing was fine, the plot was fine, the characters were fine, everything was very monotone, which lately I do give quite a lot of 3s. My rating on Goodreads is actually pretty high, but that's because I only rated books that I loved, like that I gave a 5-star when I was younger. Like that was the only thing I did when I went on Goodreads, was I only checked off like the books that I really loved. So that's why my rating on Goodreads is so high. But now that I'm on BookTube and actually utilizing my Goodreads, I assume by the end of the year it's gonna go down. This is really hard to explain. Oh my gosh, how do people do this? My brain is like hurting because I'm trying to explain how I rate books. Like, does anybody else feel that way? Like, I feel like rating, trying to explain what your mindset is when you go into reading a book or go into rating a book, it like doesn't make sense. Like, it makes sense to me, but I'm trying to articulate it to you guys and it's just hard. Another reason why I didn't want to make this video because I feel like I'm just a blabbering mess. But it's fine because we're having a chill old time drinking our coffee and talking about books. Like, I'm just gonna list off kind of books that I've given 3 stars. A Court of Thorns and Roses, I gave 3 stars. I just didn't care about the characters. The writing was meh. The plot was meh. I didn't enjoy it. Another book I gave 3 stars was Lair of Dreams, which is the 2nd book in the Diviner series, and the problem I had with this is the plot just dragged, so that's another component of 3 stars. If the book is just drags on, but it wasn't necessarily bad enough to be a 2. It's all, like I said, it's all just a book by book basis. Each book is different. Each star rating is different. Let's go to 3.5. So I'm gonna group a 3.5, 3.75 because I do use 3.75 on a rare occasion. But 3.5 is kind of where it almost could have been a 4, because 4 is like a really good rating for me because I don't give a lot of 5s. So 4 is really good. 3.5 are just books that just needed a little step, if that makes sense. So a recent book I gave 3.5 was These Rubble Waves by Sarah Rosh. It was very, very, very average the entire time, but there was one scene that kind of changed it for me, and the ending kind of made up for it too. So it did have more than a 3 did, but it didn't have quite as much as a 4 did, if that makes sense. 3.75 is very similar. It just didn't have that much oomph for a 4. Circe, I originally gave a 3.75, but I think I'm more leaning towards a 3.5. Circe has been a very difficult book for me to rate because I did enjoy the first half, but the second half just didn't do it for me, and the more I think about it, the more I don't like it. So that one's a very ambiguous book for me personally to rate. Let's move on to 4s. So as I said, 4s are really, really good. Those are books that I genuinely very much enjoy. They're just not impactful enough or like instant favorites, if that makes sense. So 4s are just really good books. So Three Dark Crowns I recently read. I gave that a 4 because I had a fantastic time. Thunderhead is another book I gave 4 stars because it was really impactful at the end, but like the beginning was meh. But because of like a great ending and a meh kind of, they like, so like a 5 and a 3 make a 4. Math. Another book was A Curse of Dark and Lonely. Another one was Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. So honestly, just like genuinely good books that I enjoyed. I was entertained and all that stuff. Alright, now 5 stars. 5 stars are the big boys. Like, I do not give out 5 stars lightly. I know a ton of people who do, and that's great. I'm glad that you can give all the 5 stars. I just like to have those, I just like to have 5 stars be books that genuinely will be like all-time favorites that I can always look to enjoy reading. I kind of just, the difference between a 4 and a 5 is again very subjective. I give 5 stars to books that just really blew me away, either the way it made me think, the way it made me feel, the uniqueness of the story, the success of the story. It's just those books that go that extra mile, you know? Example of books that I've rated 5 stars is, of course, A Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Another one is Side by Neil Shusterman. To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. And most importantly, House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig. Those books they just do it for me, and I love them for it. I'll also give 5 stars to, of course, nostalgic books. Anything by Rick Riordan is gonna get a 5 star, but that's pretty much the only author that I give like automatic 5 stars to. Oh, also I don't rate books that I've DNF'd unless I've read like over 60% or like 60% or higher. I used to, but I figured me rating a book that I only read 20% of is pretty unfair. I understand why people do it because, you know, I used to. Yeah, I felt like it was a little unfair, so I only rate if I DNF'd 60 or higher, but honestly, it would have had to make me really mad if I do, because usually I won't rate at all. Alright guys, I mean, I think that's it. I think I covered the bases. Yeah, I feel like this was a little boring, but, you know, I guess it's important to see, like, how I rate things so that you guys can contextualize it, but I feel like I wasn't that helpful, so, yeah, this might have been a flop. We'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed it Anyways, I'm gonna have a poll up on the video for how often you want these like Aphrodite chats. I'm thinking either bi-weekly or like once a month, so you guys let me know in the poll. I'll be sure to include that so you guys can let me know how often you want these little chill chit chat kind of videos. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.